Next item on the agenda is update on the outside auditor. I met with the outside auditor this afternoon. She has completed her work on the, she's nearly completed her work on getting us up through the beginning of last year. I have an invoice on my desk for 13.5 hours to complete that task, which was $1,350. I'll bring that at the next board meeting where they'll have the complete invoice. They will make a presentation on the December 6th board meeting as the results of their audit, and they'll have all their recommendations about the policies and procedures that we might want to implement to tighten up the process that we have on the 4B board and working with the city. So it's progressing, and I think that's about all I want to say at this point. We'll let the auditors speak for themselves on December 6th.
We don't have any numbers yet at all.
No.
They told us from the beginning we probably wouldn't until
Right.
December or January.
I thought early November.
No.
They were going to try to complete to get us up to this last year that we want audited by November, and that's essentially where they're at.
Yeah.
And they'll have a report for us December 6th, so they're shooting for that date.
So, we're talking about spending money on various things, and we don't know how much money we have.
That's right. But we do know that we do have money. I wouldn't jump off any cliffs and go out and get $1 million loan at this point until we get results back from the auditor on December 6th. Any other questions on the audit? Okay, we move to item number 8. Number 8 on the agenda is an update on the Paluxy River Bridge, pedestrian bridge. Kent?
Paluxy River Bridge, I've been in contact with several prefabricated bridge builders. I've been in contact with Peter Cow at Friesen Nichols about performing engineering work for this bridge. Of those bridge builders that I contacted, 7 of them, 3 of them I've had extended conversations with, and they've given me some detailed cost estimates for the bridge, and the ideal is to go in with shorter spans so you can use a smaller crane to lift them in place. Single spans are so expensive and it requires a very heavy crane to lift it in place. So I talked to Peter Cow about doing the engineering work for multiple span bridge, and Peter Cow with Friesen Nichols came back with a contract from Friesen Nichols to perform all of the engineering work, the soil testing, construction observation, and working on 500 feet of bridge, even though I asked him to separate out all of these things and put them in as options for a 300-foot bridge. He came in with a 14-page contract, total fee, fixed price fee of $118,320 for engineering work. I was shocked. When I got that, I then went back to these prefab bridge builders and asked them who they use for engineering work. All of them have engineers that certify the structural integrity of the prefab bridges that they furnish. They do not, any of them that I contacted, do not do any of the site work that supports the piers or what have you. But I did get names of engineers that they've worked with on other projects that do that kind of work. I have not, I just got that today. And also the names of a couple of contractors that do this kind of work, lifting these bridge sections into place and so forth. The numbers were, like I said, from Friesen Nichols with their fee, he was saying that the total job would be $600,000 to $800,000 estimated. The bridge builders that I talked to at much lower numbers. The ones that I ran, they were in the $400,000 vicinity, depending on how many spans.
Not including engineering. does that include
Well,
engineering?
that's my estimate, including
Okay.
engineering,
All right.
total package. The engineer for Friesen Nichols did suggest that a permit may not be required, and that it's a very small footprint of the piers that have to go down into the riverbed, but that there would need to be a study made on how the piers affect the water flow, and that has to go before the state and FEMA, basically, who make a determination of if the riverbed needs to be increased to allow extra flow for what you're displacing with your pier supports. And that takes like at least 6 months, and he was saying that from start to finish to be ready to go into construction would take approximately 12 months
Okay.
of engineering work and a review.
And this is Friesen Nichols?
This is Friesen Nichols, talking about a 500 lineal foot bridge. And I don't know how we miscommunicated or why he came back with such an enormous contract offer. But I would recommend very strongly against that, and would like to pursue gaining more information from some other engineering firms that these bridge builders work with to see what can be done a lot more economically than $600,000 to $800,000. And it's my belief that this can be done for $400,000 total in place. We may have to do the study with FEMA, with the state,
Mhm.
but there are a lot of other options to be investigated. So I don't have a final report for tonight on what this thing will cost, but again, it's my estimate that we ought to be able to do it for $400,000.
Has any other cities already completed a project such as this?
Quite a few, actually.
Any, say, our size cities are comparable?
Well,
Comparable.
Even Granbury's done this.
Okay.
Much smaller scale, of course. And I go down Highway 281 to Austin, and we go through Lampasas, and their little park there has 2 bridges that go across.
That's why I was asking, because I knew.
Yeah, and these people that I contacted, of course, they've got a lot of photographs where they've done bridges. I didn't bring any, but there are quite a few.
Yeah.
And so they have the experience, and they have the engineering firms that they've worked with in the past. I was most interested in a few of these people because one of them, the representative, was in Irving, and another one, the representative, was in Mansfield, fairly close. I also contacted another builder that I've not been able to get in touch with yet, Lone Star Bridges of LaGrange, which has beautiful looking bridges. They have a lot of photographs on the website, but I have not heard back from them yet. So there's still a lot of work that I need to do.
It's a big job.
It's a very big job, and of course I've got a lot of information that I could have printed out and given to everybody, but I've got cost for spans plus weight, and all that kind of stuff that it's just way too detailed at this point in time for us to utilize it. So,
But I think, talking with some of these other cities that have already completed one of these would be a great advantage to us.
I think so, very much so. I happen to know of a bridge that was built right outside of town, across the creek, by one of our local builders that I need to go investigate, who did not get a permit or approval through FEMA. But it's there, it's very strong, it'll take automobile traffic. So, anyway, there are a lot of options on this, a lot of things to look at yet.
Yeah. Mike, do you have any questions?
Not particularly on this.
Joan, anything more? Mitchell? Sandra? Sue? Okay, I think the only thing I would say is that, speaking for myself, my palatability is around $300,000 to $400,000. When you're talking $700,000 to $800,000, I get less anxious about having a bridge, pedestrian bridge. But I think that you're doing a great job, and I want to encourage you to continue on let's investigate this thing till we know that we can't do it, or we
And
can't
we
do
either
it.
can or we can't do it, that's
That's right.
true, but when I get an engineering contract offer of fixed price with no options,
Yeah.
$118,000, I was shocked.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's a pretty clear message, they want us to go someplace else
Well, that's-
for engineering
yeah,
services.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
I just thought of something, down in Houston, at the, Arboretum out, it's Spring, in the Spring area, they have the state parks have built us a bridge, walking bridge across the water, and it's a floating, I mean, it's a suspension type,
Yeah.
and it does wonderful. And
Part-
they've got
part of our-
acres of it.
Yeah, part of our situation here is with FEMA, we need to get above the floodplain. To get above the floodplain, we probably are going to need a pedestrian lift at least on one end.
Yeah.
Because
Of course,
the
all
ramp-
that's floodplain down there.
Yeah. So, but we have a very fast flowing river, and we get a 1-ton log come through and hit our bridge, it's gone. So, and I've seen them.
Yeah.
So, there's a lot of things to consider,
Yeah.
a lot of things to look at, and it just needs more work.
All right, I don't have anything further on that, other than to say, keep going.